And he just makes it. Yeah, it's funny. I always allow myself a few extra minutes for technical problems, and for some reason, I couldn't get this puppy started tonight. Yeah, I don't know what the situation was. I think I'm there now. I seem to be broadcasting. We're just into the wire, so I think we're good to go. But it might be a short show. No, I'd like to think the little YouTube gremlins are now out of the proverbial way. And yeah, something just glitched. I'm just gonna make sure I'm still broadcasting here. Look like I'm still broadcasting here. No way to find out because I can't ask anyone because there's no one in the chat as just is yet. This is why I'm just kind of doing this awkward filler material until somebody joins me. The irony is, I thought I was going to be late, but I was actually still early. And Gary Carpenter is here. And he goes, "I'm here," and Danny Staten is here. He says, "Greetings from South Carolina." And Miss Ayers, Georgia, you're always on my mind. She's here, and I'm getting unsolicited solicitations from my computer people. Lynn says, "Hiya, Thrash." Scott from Harold the Hatter says, "Hey, everyone." Oh, Gary Carpenter says, "Yes, rest in peace, Roger Corman, the father of cult science fiction cinema, is gone. Rest in peace, Mr. Corman." In fact, with apologies to every mother we have in our chat, originally I was going to do Star Wars trivia because of May the 4th. But then I decided to do Mother's Day trivia because today's Mother's Day. I did Roger Corman trivia, so today's trivia is going to be on Roger Corman, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, Jay Z's here. He says, "And I'm here also, so everything is going to be all right." Slips on a banana peel. Whoa! No, you're right, Jay Z. Everything's gonna be all right. I promise you. I promise you. Speaking of which, what do a banana and a sweater have in common? You slip on both. I got that from an old Dixie cup or something years ago. Oh, Jenny's like, "Gorman, no." Yes, I'm afraid. Kevin Scott 76 is here. He says, "Hey, Thrash, just finished visiting with my mom." Yes, I saw Mama Thrash earlier today. Gave her present. Poor thing. Now you know she's been having some health problems, right? Poor thing. She was going from her reversed loft, which is what we call the lower level of our split level, into the garage, and somehow the poor thing fell. She texted her terrible son to come and give her a hand. You can't blame me for this one. The text didn't send. It came back unsent. Um, she managed to get up. Thank God, she managed to get up, and from what she's told me, you know, she's a trooper. From what she's told me, she's none the worse for wear. But I said next time, just call me. For some reason, I don't get text from her when it's in the house. When I'm out and about, it's fine. When I'm in the house, no, I have no idea why. I'm like, next time, just call, because when she called me to say ignore the text, I got that straight away. But I did say Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Thrash. Oh, and Mama Thrash, and Lady Thrash, or the Thrashette, or whatever you want to call the third generation. But yes. Scott says to me specifically, "Did you get my message about Roger Corman and Retro Tube?" I did not. I haven't checked my messages late, so I haven't seen anything about RetroTube. I will definitely check it out, and thank you in advance. BK on the air is here. Barry King, how you doing? He says, "Hey, big guy, driving home from seeing my mom. Happy Mother's Day to those wonderful moms out there. Most definitely, and of course, I wish my fondest Mother's Day to Mrs. on the air, Mama on the air, Mama on the air." Sounds like a show from the 70s. Mr. Led is here, Mr. Letty. So good to see you. Mr. Letty's here. He says, "Hey, Thrash, permission to come aboard." I can't do the. Yes, permission granted. For a brief time, waiting for pizza. Ooh, pizza sounds yummy. And Sean Ennis is here and says, "Hey, all. Sean, so great to see you, my man, as always." Gary says, "Samantha Stevens, Morticia Adams, Lily Munster, and Alice Hyatt Best moms from TV. I gotta tell you, when I was a kid, this is gonna sound terrible. When I was a kid, I loved, I loved the concept of the Adams family. I mean, you notice the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Adams, they never fought. Uh, Gomez never got his belt. Um, and naughty behavior, if not encouraged outright, was at least tolerated. I used to have visions of my teacher telling um, the folks how naughty I was, and I'm saying, "Oh, we're so proud." Yeah, I was something of a problem child. If it wasn't for their really, really, really bizarre diet, weird food items, the Adamses were cool for TV parents. It probably wouldn't have been as much fun as I envisioned it. Has to be a downside, and of course, Mama Thrash was always the best mom. Well, best you could expect with a problem child like her son. DC says, I want to send a happy Mother's Day text to a female friend, but feel awkward about it. Well, if she's a mother, you shouldn't feel awkward. Just say Happy Mother's Day. But you know what? If you're not comfortable doing it, never do anything you're uncomfortable with. If your gut's telling you to, maybe you shouldn't. Oh, Chance is here, the Nostalgic Pod Blast. How are you doing? He says hi, Thresh Bondo Bonds, and hello to everyone in the chat. And Chance, I promise I will take a rain check. I am so sorry I couldn't join you guys last night. I was just, for some reason, I was really tired. I was fading fast when I was talking to you guys. But Chrissy says the offer's still open. I would absolutely love to join you on one of Chrissy's chats at BB&B or Brain Banter. Brain Benders and Bender. I will never get those words together. But, Chrissy at BB&B. While we're at it, Danny, if you wouldn't mind, please drop links for Harold the Hatter, for Pod Blast, and for yourself. Oh, and of course, Barry from BK on the air. Scott says, Happy Mother's Day. If you wanted to binge Mama's House, great show in honor of Mama's Day, it's free on Pluto TV. That's good to know. That's good to know. Sean says to Jay Z, just send it, not knowing the context of your unease, I guess. Keep it simple and it'll be fine and appreciated. That sounds very solid, Sean. Yeah, Jay-Z, listen to him. Yeah, like I said, go ahead and send it. I would again, he's right though. Keep it ambiguously unheated. Keep it as bland and mundane as possible. Tracy's here, says hi, Robert et al. And Tracy, so great to see you as well. Hello, hello. Gary Carter says happy Mother's Day. As does Tracy says happy to Mom's Day to Mrs. Potts. Thank you so much. Very, very kind of you. John Doe is here. John Doe's here. He says, hey. John, so good to see you, my friend. Danny's dropping links. Gary Carter says happy Mother's Day, Mrs. T. Oh, speaking of Jan, speaking of the podcast, my flocky sister Sarah, promise I will take you guys up on that rain check in the not too distant future. Dominic D is here, says, hey Bob, hey everyone, hey to you too. Lobo Gris is here, he says, Thrash. Lobo, so great seeing you the night. So glad you could be here today. John Doe says at mom. Danny's giving us more links. Only 257 is here and says, is that a chicken joke, Gary? Could be. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Mr. Lynn says, lost my mom 20 years ago. Now, but happy Mother's Day to all in the Thrashers and others in the chat. Thank you so much on behalf of us all. And a lot of people saying hello. Scott says to Danny, thank you for the repost, shall I say. Terrell Eugene Bellinger is here. He says, hi, Thrash. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you too, Terrell, and all of Thrash's folks. Tracy says, hey, Robert, tell your wife she's got a fan club. She's got to get her own channel. We love her. I believe she has one on TikTok. I believe. I will get back to you with all speed. T57 is like, eee! And Pablo said, "Oh, saying hello to Teb." Lobo said, "Hey, Sarah, long time no see." Andy's about to see and says, "I can only assume the director of the saga of the Viking women and their voyage to the waters of the great sea serpent has already been mentioned." Yes, and yes, I think I'm one of the three people on this channel who would know that. Of course, was one of Roger Corman's films, probably the longest title of all his films. It has been mentioned. In fact, I've decided to forego Mother's Day trivia and go with Roger Corman trivia. Sorry, mothers. You'll also be mothers next year. And 257 says, "Don't watch Solar Babies." Good advice. And Scott says, "Loving Star Trek Discovery final season has really cool links to the next generation." Oh, that's awesome. And I'm already falling behind. You guys are awesome here. Teb's giving a shout out to Podblast. Oh, Emily Miller's here. It says, "Oh, thank you to Chance." Emily Miller's here. So good to see you, Emily. Happy Mother's Day. And I'm just gonna skip down through a lot of people having fellowship with one another. Chance says, "Yes, sir. Thanks for that, but it was noticed and I followed you right back." There we go. Thank you. Georgia says, "Happy Mom's Day to Mrs. Bob." And again, happy Mother's Day to all it applies to on my channel. John Doe says, "Thrash question: What movie has boy meets girl post at the end of the world movie?" I'm gonna run the question. What movie has boy meets girl at post at end of the world movie? A Boy and His Dog? Oh, or it was the Anthony Edwards movie, maybe. Ooh, yes. Oh, Grape Fago. Anyone tried Grape Fago? I just found it. It's fantastic. And let's see. Johnny Orchard is here. Says this makes a great end to my weekend. What does that say about me? It says that you're really appreciated by me. Thank you very, very much, Johnny. And 257 says Roger Corman died. I heard that at 98 years old. That's what tonight's trivia is going to be on. What's up, Gipper? Andy Spout says. Dan's dropping more links. Gary Cameron says, "Only he had some great movies." He certainly did. Chan says, "Okay, I won't watch Solar Babies." Christopher is here. He says, "Good evening, Bob. Good evening to you, Christopher. So good to see you." Scott says, "By the way, I subscribe to all the links. Very good, very good." 2007 says, "My staff member is watching the news." Oh, it's good news. Hope springs eternal. Christopher is saying, "Happy Mother's Day to Emily." WD said, "Never heard of Grape Fago." I never heard of Grape Fago either. I've had the orange, the lemon lime, the cola, one other flavor I can't think of, but I never saw grape. They had grape today. I grabbed it. And it's really, really good. And my flux giving us a link. Thank you so much. Johnny Orchard says, "I appreciate you, Thrash. We will someday get on the same phone line." No worries, my friend. Yes, I am going to try to give you a call again this week. We will get there eventually. I promise. I hope you had a good time with your grandkids, though. 257 says, "Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he gets in a fix, he does what, folks? First one in the column gets bragging rights." Gary Cameron says, "Only I told you I won't see it." I'm guessing that's Solar Babies. Kevin Scott 76 says, "Feed me, Thrash." We don't want to give everything away. That reference caught. And my flux giving us another links. Thank you so much. Daryl Johnson is here. Says, "Bob, other brother Daryl, how you doing?" 257 said, "I can't. Why can't I say 257 tonight?" Piranha, Shopping Mall, Death Race 2000, Little Shop of Horrors, Star Crash, are my favorites. John Sayles directed Piranha, and he's one of my favorite directors too. So it's a two. Piranha's a twofer for me. And Scott says in these bouts, I love that mother's that mother that I'm sorry, I love that moniker dubbed by you. There you go, there you go. Emily says I didn't even know Fago existed until 1990. Let me guess, it was the Juggalos, wasn't it? The Juggalos, the Juggalos. They're in the air and everywhere. Sorry, wrong band. I actually went and saw ICP once. Buddy of mine was really, really into them, and they came to Boston. I want to say around 2000. Sarah says my flock was on here. Help my flock get to 1,000 subscribers, please. Yes, definitely, definitely. John Doe says thrash my finger slip. It's a forgotten movie about a musician meets a woman when the apocalypse started. I'm not sure. Is Anthony Edwards in it? I'm not sure. 257 says reaches into his bag of tricks. 257 for the win. Gary says I've never had it, just Orange Crush. Orange Crush is great too, but the Fago is pretty darn good. Tebs says guess the 80s sitcom by this premiere. Liberal ex-hippie boomer parents raising their Gen X children. One of them was conservative in the Reagan era. Um, um, Family Ties. I was going to say Growing Pains, but it wasn't Growing Pains. But for some reason, all I could think of was Growing Pains. Yeah, Family Ties with Alex Keaton. And he says to Scott, there's no getting around it. I'm a silver tongued devil. And that's Silver Tongue Devil. And Emily says, LOL, no, ex-hubby from Ohio. Oh, that's right, yeah, because Fago's from the Midwest. That's right. Who? Well, ICP was from Detroit, I want to say, but that whole area, I believe. Oh, Brogan was here. He says hi, Thrash. Daryl says, don't forget to the like button. Thank you. 257 says 80s classic Evil Dead. Love the Evil Dead. Sarah says, I love ICP album. Great. Monaco. I forget what my favorite album was. Again, it's been years, but I love their concert. My Flux says, hit that thumbs up and share out and comment after the show, please and thank you. She's right. If you comment after I post, people can find your channels in the comment section below. Teb says Family Ties was correct. Excellent. Music Girl 67 is here. Says hello everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you too. Happy Mother's Day to you. Music Girl 67. Scott says so very true. Emily says, thank you to Gary. John Doe says, yes, Anthony Edwards is the main star playing the musician. What is the name of that movie? It's killing me. I know it. It's a really cool name, too. It's a really cool name, but I can't think of it to save my life. Big Guys 45 is here. Says, hey there, everyone. Big Guys, so good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Gary says, there's another Godzilla movie coming out in 03 or G3. You sank my battleship. Danny's like, no, back to Corman. Yes, I know, really. Big Guy says, nice seeing you all. My Flux says, ICP and Eminem had beef. LOL. They had a feud. They really did. They had a feud. It got really ugly for a while. 207 says, Terrell, guess this was a 70s movie. Did James Caan appear in involving Rollerball? Rollerball. Thank you, Indy. John Doe says, Miracle Mile. Thank you. Thank you. It was killing me. Yes, Miracle Mile. Thank you. I haven't seen the movie in 20 plus years. Gary Gabriel says, I'm going to eat chicken dinner in a bit. LOL. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your dinner. Sean says, hey, music girl, you were missed last week during the music trivia. I know. I was. I hope you do the music trivia in replay. And that was the movie. Joe Doe says, yeah, that was the movie. And Tracy says, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Oh, the fur moms as well. 2007 is Galaxy of Terror. Music Girl says, "Hey there, Dominic and Sean. Hope you're all well, my buddies." Gary Cameron says, "I didn't like Family Ties. I had a crush on the mom in that. Actually, I must confess." Meredith Baxter Burney from Family too, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Teb says, "Guess the 1970s sitcom by the premise: a working class bigoted father." All in the Family. Make him tougher. WD says John Husband was in the original Rollerball. He really was. He stole the movie. Um, he's in. I love him in Ghost Story. If you guys haven't seen Ghost Story, you have to see it. John Doe says ICP had a feud with Eminem and Kid Rock. I knew Kid Rock had a feud with Tommy Lee. I didn't know about ICP as well. I think they feuded with everybody. Scott says, I am so angry with Tug, like supporting your wife on Mother's Day is as important as the. Jeez. Well, we'll have to forgive him this time. John Doe says, why not do a recap of Miracle Mile? 'Cause I haven't seen it in like 25 years. I could try. And I'm still working on the cartoon retrospect, I promise you. But I'll put that on deck, I promise. Scott says Tug should totally be here. Yeah. Again, I'm sure he'll watch it in replay. Emily says I'm more the type of Family Ties mom. Yeah. I can see that. 2007 says Terrell, guess what year did Lidsville come out? 71? Music Girl says, Thrash, thank you for the Mother's Day greetings, sweetie, but I'm not a mom. I left that job to my sister, 4 sisters. Well, on the spirit of the day in question, but all right, happy Sunday. We'll leave it at that. And Gary Carpenter says, Dominic, he was also in the $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman crossover. Oh, excellent. Oh, look who's here. Ian C's here. He says, how's everyone doing? Ian, it is so awesome to see you. Happy Mother's Day. And 2007 says Good Pawns. And Denny says I'd rather watch King Ralph. And Emma Miller says just getting through the day. Ian, how are you? WD says yeah, I remember that, Gary. And 257 says I rather watch the Croft shows than the news. A lot of people asking Ian how he's doing. Sister Sarah's dropping another link. Music Girl says, hoping that everyone is having a relaxing and restful Sunday and a wonderful Mother's Day to my girls, Emily and Tracy. Very kind of you to say. Scott also had a crush on Meredith Baxter Burney. Oh, ENC says he's doing good. Oh, and 257 asks if he's seen The Fall Guy, the new Fall Guy movie. And Tim says, guess the 90s sitcom by the premiere. A streetwise kid from West Philadelphia, born and raised. Seriously? Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Nice try. Spout says, I think you may be spot on with 1971 for Lynn's Bill Ponds. Thank you. Appreciate that. And 2007 says, Retro Don't Watch Ega. I have the MST3K version of that. And John H is here. Oh my God, John H. Been so long. Said Lidsville is from 71. It followed HR Pub Stuff from 1969 and the Bugaloos in 1970. And yes, Dominic D also guesses French person Bel Air. Emily says, not yet, only I'll wait for it to stream. What is your take on it? My Flex says I shared you pods. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate that. Yeah, everybody's saying Fresh Prince of Air was too easy. Oh, Sarah says Tuesday is her birthday. Oh my, are you going to do a live birthday show? You should do a live birthday show. And Gary says, John, the Croft shows are starting to appear on YouTube. Yes, they are. They are. And on Tubi as well. Thank you, 257. Emily Miller says, we're a sad bunch, aren't we? Only, oh, I don't know. I think we're quite happy. We happy few. And Meal Girl says, "What is the trivia about today?" I was going to do it on Star Wars originally, and then I switched it to Mothers for Mother's Day, Hollywood Mothers, obviously. But with the passing of Roger Corman, we have to do it on Roger Corman films, and I'm going to start that in about 10 minutes. But thank you for asking. Tracy says, "I always wished that Croft would do the show about a girl. It was always about a boy." You're right. I never noticed that because I was a boy. But yeah, you were so right. um, although Linda the Lost had a girl, and I had a huge crush on her. John Doe says, "Werewolves on Wheels is part two. Do you know what part one is? Because I sure don't. I am actually not sure." Sarah says, "Pawns for life." Sarah, ride or die. Uh, Sean says, "Happy birthday, which is early." Oh, that's very kind to her. Sarah. Gary Carpenter says, "I had a crush on Sandy Duncan, and I moved on to Linda Carter." Linda Carter, I can see. Sandy Duncan? Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. That was mean. Um, it's a free country. Um, I had a crush on Minnie Driver. Uh, Justin's here. Braidwood in says, "Guess the '80s sitcom Loving Father, full of dad jokes, in Seattle, raising a family with a wisecracking daughter." Seattle family wisecracking. Can't be Hello Larry. He had two daughters. '80s show. Oh wait. Yeah, '80s sitcom Loving Father, full of dad jokes, in Seattle, raising a family with a wisecracking daughter. Huh. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Scott says '80s TV show where a man discovers his previous marriage had a kid and now finds he has to figure out fatherhood. Huh. Huh. '80s show where a man discovers his previous marriage had a kid and now finds he has to figure out fatherhood. I guess I didn't watch a lot of TV back in the '80s. I was too busy getting drunk. My flex says, "LOL, pop up at night, probably getting people together. Trying to." Johnny says, "Henry the Fifth, go pawns." I'm Henry the Fifth, I am. Henry the Fifth, I am, I am. Trust me, I get it. It was we few, we happy few. Yes, on this Saint Crispin's day. Why do you mock poor fellows so? I love that whole bit. I love that when he goes to the guy who was trying to desert a minute ago, and he goes, "Do you wish more men? Were it the will of God, my king and I would face the enemy alone." It's just the whole thing is just such a great movie. And actually, I read the play in high school. I fell in love with it then. But the movie is great. But yes, I'll thank you for catching that. Jenny says, "Name your top five Corman movies." The Day the Earth Ended. It Came from Outer Space. Um, Frankenstein Unbound. Um, Mask of the Red Death. And I don't know. The one where the wizards fight, and I can't think of the name of it to save my life, and I'm going to be really embarrassed when one of you folks, probably Indy, says it in the comments. But it's the one where Vincent Price and Boris Karloff are rival wizards and have the buffering pawns. Oh no! And he says, "I thought the Fall Guy was a perfectly acceptable action comedy with decent pacing and action pieces that were not overly ridiculous. I give it a 7.5 of 10." That was a very even-handed review. And I jumped off the page, so we're gonna have to go back because I'm not gonna start that this way tonight. Tab says, "Guess the '90s sitcom by the premise." Six New York City Friends. Friends. Deb, you gotta make these more. No, you're kidding. You keep doing you, by the way. But I'm gonna keep knocking these out of the park. Although the other two, I'm still waiting on those two '80s sitcoms. Oh, look who's here! House of Alex is here. It says, "Hey everyone, House of Alex, so great to see you, my brother." Uh, I'm just gonna skip down. Denny says only check your connection pawns is not buffering on my end. Good to know. Good to know. WD says Karen Valentine definitely, but I don't know about Sandy Duncan. LOL. And a lot of people guessing Friends. And by the way, guys, still fill me in on one of those other two '80s shows because you got me intrigued now. Okay, Teb says, guess the '70s sitcom by the premiere. An independent unmarried woman works at a Minneapolis TV station with an eccentric group of friends and employees. Mary Tyler Moore Show. John Doe says, a polar bear walks into a bar and says, I'll have a rum and Coke. The bartender said, why the long pause? And the polar bear looks down and says, I was born with them. Why the long pause? I was born with them. Priceless. I thought it would be a pun on Polar Soda, which up here is a rival to uh, Coke. Gary Cameron says didn't like MacGyver. Music Girl says I know about 2% of Roger Corman's history, and that's on a good day. I tried to make them guessable. A lot of people guessing Mary Tyler Moore. Justin says Teb. That was where all the supporting characters were funnier than the main one. It was. It was. It was the Raven. Thank you, Indy. Thank you. It was the Raven. I thought it was. Yeah, because well, I'm just gonna, if you haven't seen the Raven by this point, but yeah, uh, um, Peter Lorre is turned into a Raven. WD says Fall of the House of Usher was a great one. That's actually a very good one too. Georgia says, hey Bob, if you and your family go on vacation, I would like to invite the family to Arizona between the months of October to March. The reason why is because this is Arizona winter. You know, it's fun. I got an uncle. I got an uncle who lives in Arizona. So you know what? If I ever decide to go out and see my uncle Rick, I will definitely let you know that we'll be coming out. We could all like get lunch or something. That'd be great. Thank you for the invite. What you mean is here says hello everyone. Sorry I'm a bit late. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Very kind of you. You're actually right on time. And Gary Carpenter says only Rhoda and Phyllis. Scott says clue. Wealthy man discovers previous marriage had a child. Now discovers. Oh, silver spoons. Silver spoons. Once you said wealthy, they click. Thank you. Now, if I could just get Justin to say which one he was talking about. And Friends is correct. Awesome. Thank you, Teb. And Music Girl says, hi to Wedge. Says to Gary, what the F is Mary Tyler Moore show? It was a show in the 70s with Mary Tyler Moore. And thank you, my vlog, for the link. And what do you mean says hello music? Oh, both well with you. And oh, I jumped, but I think I'm almost caught up. If I missed anybody, please forgive. Derek Evans said Sanford and Son was based on Steptoe and Son. It certainly was. And Tug is here. He says, "Oh, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the chat." Oh, that's very thank you so much, and thank Mrs. Tug, by the way, for letting you join us tonight. I understand that this is her day, and for her to sacrifice any of it is very kind of her. Teb says, "Rest in peace, Roger Corman, the man who launched so many careers. He's the father of cult science fiction cinema, hands down." Here's Tug. Indeed, it is. And Sean says, speaking of original sodas, ever have Moxie? Yes. Yes, I have had Moxie. There's a lot of Moxie to it. Oh, and you know what? It's just 8 o'clock now, and I'm caught up. I'm not going to press my luck. So, in the spirit of the loss of Roger Corman, Justin says, Thrash, mine was dominant. Oh, Domestic Life with Martin Mull. His daughter was Megan Follows. I don't recall that. Wait. Do I recall that? A Martin Mull sitcom? There's something in the back of my head. But thank you for letting me know. And he says to Sean, I have tried it. I hate it, but felt obligated to try it because I love Ted Williams. Who doesn't love Ted Williams? Man's a national treasure, at least in Massachusetts. And Emily says, I'm full of movie, but I've never heard of The Drink. And Dominic D says, anybody remember the short-lived Barely Taylor Moore Variety Hour? David Letterman and Michael Keaton were in the cast. I don't recall that. I really don't. Cindy D is here. Happy Mother's Day, Cindy D. Cindy D is here and says, hello to all of us, and thank you as well. Music Girl says, Dr. Pepper has a new flavor for a limited time, creamy coconut. Don't like coconut. Mrs. Thrash might like it. And we have another link from Danny. Thank you. And before I get too far behind, I'm going to start tonight's trivia, and it is on the career of Roger Corman. And as always, I shall start in no particular order. Number 10. Mr. Corman literally created his own franchise, adapting the works of what author? Was it A. H.G. Wells, B. Jules Verne, C. Edgar Allan Poe, or D. H.P. Lovecraft? And I shall repeat, Mr. Corman literally created his own franchise, adapting the works of this author. 1. H.G. Wells, B. Jules Verne, C. Edgar Allan Poe, or D. H.P. Lovecraft. Oh, Tim says, guess the 1970s sitcom by the premise. A teenager and his family and his friends, and one of them was a greaser. Happy Days. And Sean says to Indy, yeah, I didn't like it either, but I had a roommate in college that drank it like everyone else was drinking beer. I like root beer and birch beer, but not Dr. Pepper. Wow, you guys really knew this one. I'm not going to bother to wait because everyone seemed to like knock it out of the park. Yes, Edgar Allan Poe. I was just talking about it a second ago. That's why I said let's not give the game away. Oh, look who's here! Keith E is here. Hi, Keith E. Keith E is here, and says I'm here. I'm late. No, you're right on time. I'm gonna repeat question 10 just for you, by the way, because you literally just missed it. Topic is Roger Corman films tonight, and the question number 10 was Mr. Corman literally created his own franchise, adapting the works of this author. A. H.G. Wells, B. Jules Verne, C. Edgar Allan Poe, or D. H.P. Lovecraft. And I know you could guess and still get it. So, yes, it's Edgar Allan Poe. Moving on to number 9. Jack Nicholson made a brief appearance in the original version of this Corman sci-fi horror comedy classic, later remade in 1986. Was it A, Creature from the Haunted Sea, B, Little Shop of Horrors, C, Mars Attacks, or D, Reds? I shall repeat. Jack Nicholson made a brief appearance in the original version of this Corman sci-fi horror comedy cult classic, later remade in 1986. Was it A, Creature from the Haunted Sea, B, Little Shop of Horrors, C, Mars Attacks, or D, Reds? I'm under the car. I see most of you have. I see a couple dissenting votes, but wow. Oh, 257 is giving multiple responses. They're correct, but you only get 1 point. Yes, it was B. It was Little Shop of Horrors. Number 8. Which of these is not one of Corman's many post-apocalyptic classic flicks? A. She Gods of Shark Reef. C. Gods of Shark Reef. B. The Day the World Ended. C. The Last Woman on Earth. Or D. Gas. I shall repeat. I'll try to. Which of these is not one of Corman's many post apocalyptic classic flicks? A. She Gods of Shark Reef. B. The Day the World Ended. C. The Last Woman on Earth. Or D. Gas. Please don't eat the daisies. Well, the answers are starting to come in. This one was a little tricky. You almost had to kind of guess a little on this one. I'm going to let some more answers come in. Yeah, believe it or not, give you a few more seconds. I'll have another sip of my Fago. I should have gotten more of these. Actually, Gas is a post apocalyptic movie. It's called Gas. It's not about the fuel shortages. This scientist is working on a secret weapon. But what it does is it kills everybody over 21. So basically the teenagers, it's sort of like Lord of the Flies. It was done on a global level. Sydney Williams is in it. She has a supporting role. Right around the time she did American Graffiti. But yes, Gas is a post-apocalyptic film. It's a comedy. It's done as I guess it was written as a serious post-apocalyptic flick, but they decided it worked better as a comedy, as they so often do. But the correct answer is A. She Gods of Shark Reef. Although it does sound a little post-apocalyptic-y, doesn't it? Moving on to number 7. Mr. Corman had a small role in this Scream franchise film. Was it A, Scream 1, B, Scream 2, C, Scream 3, or D, Scream 4? Mr. Corman had a small role in this Scream franchise film. Was it A, Scream 1, B, Scream 2, C, Scream 3, or D, Scream 4? Black Sheep Squadron, love it. City D, Scream 5, love it too. Miss Girl says Scream 8. I love it. I love the crazy answers. Give it a few more seconds to keep coming in. Key says, well, they couldn't have been Scream 1. It wasn't yet A. Yes, you are so true. It wasn't yet A. Christopher says, good evening, Cindy. Happy Mother's Day. And Tracy says, hi to Georgia. And Cindy says, don't know this trivia, lol. Yeah, people either know Roger Corman or they don't. So, Cindy, if you find this unfruitful, either play along giving silly answers or just try to endure. I'm sorry. Dominic D says, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I was praying someone would do that. And Justin says, oh, Keith, he says, it wasn't yet a franchise. That's an excellent point. So, yeah, that takes A out of the equation. And Justin says, I have no clue about this trivia or Corman. Very sorry. Again, you can just enter silly answers or just, again, try to endure. Sorry. We're almost halfway there, though. Oh, it was a C, Scream 3. He plays a studio executive. And then we'll do number 6, and we'll get some scores. Number 6, Mr. Corman made a never-released action flick featuring these superheroes of the Marvel Universe. Some of you might just know this anecdote. Was it A, Fantastic Four, B, Black Panther, C, Spider Man, or D, Batman? I should wow. Before I even give the options, Cindy says, "Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. I love it. Yes, I shall repeat. Mr. Corbin made a never-released action flick featuring these superheroes of the Marvel Universe: A, Fantastic Four, B, Black Panther, C, Spider-Man, or D, Batman." And I just realized I said heroes. So you can't guess the right answer. Not to mention, I'm really surprised one of you people haven't stuffed this in my face because I did it on purpose. Batman, of course, is DC, not Marvel Universe. But yes, it's A, the Fantastic Four. Yeah, he goes, Alex says Heroes was a giveaway. Uh, 257 says, not really paying attention. Bye, guys. Hey, 257, thanks for joining us. Happy Mother's Day. Be good, be safe, be careful, and all that sort of rot. How about some scores, gang? And Music Girl says to 257, thanks, Indy. Oh, I'm sorry, Indy. She's, thanks, Indy. So kind and sweet of you. Oh, that's very nice. Okay, Wajamin is 5 of 5. Sean is 5 of 5. Indy says, if it stopped every game to correct your tomfoolery, Bob, we'd never finish. Well said. Justin's 0 for 5. Alex is 3 of 5. Music Girl's 2 of 5. George is 5 for 5. John Doe is 10 to 27 of 3. Teb is 4 of 5. Dominic D is 4 of 5. Gary Carpenter says he's 6 of 8. Kevin Scott 76 says every time I hear Corman, I think of the medics in World War III. Oh, I remember World War III. Actually, man, that was craziness. Iceland against the Philippines. Who saw that one coming? And Cindy D says 1 for nothing, and your chicks for free. Money for nothing, and your chicks for free. Yes. And Indy so far so good. I'm guessing he means he's at 100%. Tracy is 0 for 0. Oh, sorry, Tracy. And Sean is like, nice to get Ray Carpenter. Okay, now for the back half. Number 5. And if you pay attention to my channel, you might be able to guess this one. Roger Corman had a big comeback hit with this adaptation. I'm sorry, I'll come again. Roger Corman had a big comeback hit with his adaptation of this Brian Wilson Aldiss epic. Was it A, Carnosaur, B, Death Sport, C, Frankenstein Unbound, or D, The Terror Within? I shall repeat. Roger Corman had a big comeback hit with his adaptation of this Brian Wilson Aldiss epic. A, Carnosaur, B, Death Sport, C, Frankenstein Unbound, or D, The Terror Within. Dark Side of the Moon, love it. Well, Lance is here, says, just saying hi, gang. I'm out, sorry. Hey, no, you take care of yourself. We'll see you real soon. John Doe says Godzilla could be better if Spock was in it. Yes, he would have. Oh, Kevin's got his O for O, and oh yeah, Tracy said she was O for O. Oh no, I think I broke the. Oh, there we go. I thought I froze the comments again. Good vibrations. The girl says, Surfing USA, you did say Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson Aldiss. And Indy said, yeah, yes. As I've said on many occasions, is Frankenstein Unbound is one of the few films Brian Aldiss had ever got made. And this one was made by Roger Corman. Which moves on to question 4. Mr. Corman made an appearance in which film in the Godfather franchise? Was it A, Godfather 1, B. Godfather 2, C. Godfather 3, or D. The Black Godfather? I shall repeat. Mr. Corman made an appearance in which film of the Godfather franchise? A1, B2, C3, or D. The Black Godfather? I was hoping at least one person would say D. Godfather's Pizza, I love it. Oh! Dan Sheehan said D. Dan Sheehan, welcome to the party, and thank you for saying D. In his note says, type part 2, music girl. We knew what she meant. Give it a few more minutes. And as you probably deduced, Dan, this tonight's trivia is based on the works of Roger Corman as my tribute to the loss of the father of cult science fiction. Dan says, "How can I not?" Yeah, I'm always hoping people will pick the silly, wacky, irreverent answer. But actually, the correct answer is Godfather 2. He plays one of the senators during the Senate hearings. And Cindy says, double trouble, I'm a twin. I did not know that. I did not know that. Moving on to number 3. Mr. Aldis, that's Brian Wilson Aldis, tragically went on to write this less than stellar sequel in the hopes that Corman would thus make him Hollywood's next Michael Crichton. Was it A, The Strain, B, Return to Salem's Lot, C, The Impaler Chronicles, or D, Dracula Unbound? I shall repeat. Mr. Aldis tragically went on and wrote this less than stellar sequel in the hopes that Corman would thus make him Hollywood's next Michael Crichton. A, The Strain, B, Return to Salem's Lot, C, The Impaler Chronicles, or D, Dracula Unbound? Sean says, oops, should have known, dropped one. Oh, no worries. Dan says, I am silly and wacky and sometimes irreverent. Get on like a house on fire. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. She just came in here to take something. I can't tell what she took. It was in this. Blackula. Love it, City D. Blackula. Monsters Go Home. That's another good one. Everyone's saying hello to Mrs. Thrash. Kevin says, how about you choose me? Dan says, I want to see a return to... either to... I thought it was Strain's Lot, but Salem's Lot. Well, the correct answer was Dracula Unbound. And yes, this is a true story. After they got Frankenstein Unbound made, this is right around the time Michael Crichton released Jurassic Park. And, of course, Roger Corman did do Carnosaur, trying to capitalize on that. And Brian Aldiss, he went out and he wrote Dracula Unbound. And it was kind of beneath his normal work. What he did was he wrote it to become a Hollywood script. And he sent an advance copy to Roger Corman, thinking that this was a done deal and Corman could make it, and it would make him finally make him a big science fiction writer in America. And Corman read it, and they had dinner, and at the dinner, he says, yeah, I can't make this film. And Aldis said, what? He goes, oh, it'd be way too expensive for me. You would need to get like a big studio. And of course, the big studios weren't taking Aldis's work because science fiction was dead. Even though Jurassic Park was one of the biggest money-making movies of its time. It's a very, very, very sad story. Yeah, Teb says Dracula Unbound. Yeah, Dracula Unbound is the correct answer. And Dan says, sorry, my computer sucks. It's okay. Sean says, Coppola Dracula came out then too. It was right around that time, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Dan says, Return of the Living Dead, greatest movie ever made. I absolutely love I absolutely love that movie. And so what do you think? Ernst Kaltenbrunner, former Hitler Youth, what do you think? There were so many clues. Apparently, O'Bannon did admit that in the original script, they loved Don Caffa. They loved his performance, but in the original treatment, he's a much, much, much older man, and the implication is it actually was the Ernst Kaltenbrunner. Um, but of course, he would have been in his 90s at that point. But yeah, Return of the Living Dead, amazing movie. And let's see what else. Okay, moving on to number two. Which 1970s gangster themed film was not a Roger Corman project? Was it A. Machine Gun Kelly, B. Bloody Mama, C. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, or D. Bonnie and Clyde? John says my girlfriend accused me of cheating. Said you're starting to sound like my wife. uh, that's a good one. I shall repeat. Which 1970s gangster themed film was not a Roger Corman project? A. Machine Gun Kelly, B. Bloody Mama, C. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, or D. Bonnie and Clyde? And Dan says he had many great spots on Barney Miller too. Don Caffa, he's the guy who invented Tan Alert, and I believe there's he was in another one, but I can't think of the premise. But yeah, he played like the foil. He was played a great foil because he had the when he like would get like surprised or something, his eyes would just get like really big, you know. Yeah, but yes, D is the correct answer. And he says also Bonnie and Clyde wasn't from the 70s; it was from 67. I knew it was around there. I couldn't remember, but I needed a gangster movie that wasn't done by Corman. And you hit the proverbial nail on the proverbial head. Moving forward, number one. Oh, we're at number one. Number one. This Corman film was remade some 30 years later, starring Tracy Lords. Was it A. Naked Paradise, B. Not of This Earth, C. Sorority Girl, or D. Crybaby Killer? I shall repeat. This Corman film was remade some 30 years later, starring Tracy Lords. Was it A. Naked Paradise, B. Not of This Earth, C. Sorority Girl, or D. Crybaby Killer? Tracy Lord of the Flies. Werewolves and Mummies. That's a good one. So he says Stanley and Iris. Dan says my family just adopted a 140-pound Newfoundland. He poops like a dinosaur. Crazy. It just occurred to me. I put the card away without remembering which. Yes, there we go. Well, looks like most of you got. Oh, Kevin Scott 76 says, "Are they crying that there is a baby killer, or do they want to the baby killer to cry?" It's crybaby killer, as in the killer is a crybaby. But I can, depending on how you break that down, it gets really, really dark. But it's not the right answer anyway. Also, needs every day walk the dinosaur. The correct answer is B, Not of This Earth, which also has and I'm going to butcher her name, Kelly Mariano, who was the zombie killing cheerleader in Night of the Comet, who I also had a major crush on back in the day. So how about we get some final scores? And he says, after some thought, I just realized that Machine Gun Kelly was from the late 1950s, was an option. Last question. Let me see what. Oh, wow, you're right. I'm sorry, but that wasn't the right answer either. But anyone who said Machine Gun Kelly can give themselves a point. Why do I think Machine Gun Kelly was from this? I think I was confusing it with another gangster film starring Charles Bronson. Oh, which wasn't a Corman. That's it. It wasn't a Corman film, but I was confusing it with the Valachi Papers. Um, I was kind of rushing through the trivia today because a lot of it was done at the last minute, as I'm sure you have figured out at this point. Teb was 8 of 10. What do you mean is 10 for 10? Dominic D is 7 of 10. Oh, Bobby Renee's here says hello, fans. Bobby Renee, so great to see you. This girl's 3 of 10, which is three more than I thought I was going to get. You should be very proud. Bobby says host with the most. Yes, Bobby, good to see you, man. And Keith says over one, but less than three. Well, two's not the loneliest number that you've ever heard. And oh, did I miss anyone? Oh, Sean, this is 9 for 10. Dominic D is 7 for 10. Uh, and Benjamin is 10 for 10. I'm sorry, I don't know how I missed those. And Dan says it wasn't Tracy Lords. She had. It's a long and sordid story, but she had made some naughty films at some point, but went on to do some more mainstream cinema later on in her career. I don't want to get into the details because it's a rather sordid story. Cindy says, Shininess can I can pick all the categories. And Danny says, I remember she was on Married with Children. Yeah, she was the murder mystery episode, one of the funniest they ever did. And he says my score was a Bo Derek 10. Uh, WD says, ever see the low budget gangster movie Babyface Nelson starring Mickey Rooney? Not to my recollection. Kevin says, mentioning crushes, that would be a great topic. Girls in sci fi shows from the 60s through the 90s. We tried that once, and all the ladies felt wicked, wicked, wicked left out. We were going to do another one with girl crushes, but they never materialized. So, yeah. I would mention from time to time, but I wouldn't make it the topic of an episode. Bobby Renee says, host, nice background when you selling merch. Long involved story. I had some merch on Spring. It was up when I somehow I did something wrong. So the merch, while it was up, you can't find it at the moment. I keep meaning to get in touch with Dave. Dave Sundstrom was going to walk me through it because he thought he might know what went wrong. But I haven't had a chance to talk to him. The short answer is hopefully soon. Keithy says, Mark Sean as stupid, joking, but not really. Music Girl says, great going, Indy, Sean, Wedge, and Kenneth. Cindy says, so was Shannon Tweed, I believe. Yeah, she was. She did the some kind of camp. They were at a summer camp or a fishing camp, some kind of camp. But yeah, she did do a marriage children as well. Keithy says Corey Comedy Channel at 9 p.m. Anybody interested? Oh yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm going to actually be closing a few minutes early tonight, so that people will hop off and hop on Corey's channel. I won't be able to make it, by the way, because as you guys know, Mondays are a really early day for me. But please tell Corey I said peace and chicken grease, and that I wish him all the luck with his. But I invite everyone to go from here to there. Oh, this girl says, great going, Indy, Sean. Oh, I already think I read that one already. Oh, yes, I sure did. It just jumped up. Indy's Belt says to Kevin, Linda Harrison as Nova in Planet of the Apes. Lynn Frederick from Phase 4, a close second. Lynn Frederick, I believe, wasn't she also the daughter in No Blade of Grass? She was from what I understand, she was a terrible person in real life. I'm not going to start spouting anecdotes because I haven't confirmed any of them. But if you like read her bio, um, she was married to Peter Sellers, and well, it was not a healthy situation. Uh, Wajimeen's going to be there at Corey's late night. No surprises there. Dan says Yeoman Rand and Lieutenant O'Hara have kept me up a night or two. Teb says guess the 1990s sitcom by the premise: a former high school jock turned shoe salesman. And we were just talking about that, Married with Children. But very good, Teb. And Cindy says Married with Children. Yes, Married with Children. And Indy's about says she was married to Peter Sellers' fourth final wife, Bob. Yes, and if well, after he died, there was like some shenanigans with the estate. Is all I'll really say. Um, but I guess she wasn't a particularly nice person in some regards. Music Girl says only 9 likes. We can do better than that. Yes, we sure can. Oh wait, it's up to 20 now. Yay. Keith says the Cosby Show. Actually, little anecdote, little trivia here. When Married with Children was being conceptualized, the working title was not The Cosby Show. They wanted to be the exact opposite of The Cosby Show. Although I believe one of their best writers actually wrote for The Cosby Show at one point. But Kevin Scott 76 says to Indy Spell, Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers. Didn't we just lose her not too long ago? Denny says if you refresh, you'll see 20 likes. Yeah, I see 20 likes on my page. Well, 22 now. Thank you. Thank you. Cindy D says I did a post about TV moms. I used Peg Bundy and Claire Huxtable. Well, talk about polar opposites. Tab says guess the 80s sitcom by the premise. A pediatrician and his attorney wife raised their 5 children in New York City. The Cosby Show. Indy says I made a similar noise on Twiki when she appeared on screen. And Music Girl says, thanks to Denny's dating, having a good day and not needing to refresh. Thanks. Oh my god, Crapshoot 7 Crapshoot 76. Crapshoot Creations is here. Says big high five to the live. Big high five back to you. Denny, would you be so kind to drop a link for our friend Crapshoot Creations? He makes his own tie-dyes, and they're absolutely outstanding, folks. And Keithy says, like 21, but dislikes are 400. Ouch. I knew you were kidding. Bobby says, host, if you do a shirt, use host with the most. This was actually the shirt that was designed by Dave, which is one that was posted. But I like host with the most. That's actually really, really cool. I should work something with that. Sean says to Indy and to Dan Sheehan, those references make me think of Joanne Harris and Jay Lenz. Cindy says you can't see the dislikes. LOL. Remember the good old days you could? And Indy says, I assume that's K Lens. Contact lens. And CSC says, much appreciated. Well, thank you. And Sean says, yes, oops. I'm on my phone, Indy. Oh, thank you for the link, Danny. And Dan says, I just like to show this is awesome. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you like the show and that you think it is awesome. We like having you here, Dan. Thank you. Welcome to the party once more. And Kevin says, celebrating 31st anniversary with my wife tomorrow. And he says, we can't help who we love, Sean. Oh, yeah, we can. It just takes some effort. And Terrell says, guess the 80s sitcom by this premise for elderly women, Golden Girls. And although, thank you for this material, by the way, Ted. Way to go. Way to go. What do you mean says congrats to Kevin. Yes, gold. A lot of people guessing Golden Girls. Sean says to Indy, well, Jay was pretty sweet too, but yes, I meant Kay. Cindy says, love the one you with. Well, there's a rose and a fisted glove, and the eagle flies with the dove. And when I was in college, we used to sing that song, but we altered some of the words to make it a little more piggish, as my mother or my wife would say. Justin says, only one was elderly. Well, they were all of advanced age. One was especially advanced age. But I guess Leslie Nielsen was in the show briefly too. Keith says my computer shows dislikes, but only on Thrash's channel. Wow. And Terrell says the Golden Girls. That's correct. And Indy says, I assume that Joanne Harris was the one from The Beguiled. Joanne Harris was. I remember The Beguiled. That is such a raunchy movie. That has got to be the raunchiest movie Clint Eastwood ever made. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, premise. Union soldier, on the run deserter, wounded, whatever. On the run Union soldier ends up hiding in an Are You Sitting Down Confederate school for girls. And hilarity ensues. That movie could just not be made these days. But that is, as they say, that. Dan says, why don't monsters eat ghosts? Because they taste like sheet. Cindy says, I'm on my phone. Can't see them. Sean says, yes, sir, 1971, The Beguiled. Cindy says, elderly is over 55. That means most MTV generation Xers. Well, that's certainly me. I'm over 55. Musical says, if they were elderly, I guess most of us here are elderly now. Yeah, I guess I am too. Tim says, guess the 80s sitcom by this premise. An ex-baseball player and single father of a young daughter becomes the housekeeper for a divorced ad exec, her young son and mother. Well, the show has got to be Who's the Boss, but he was a baseball player. I don't remember that part, but yeah, Who's the Boss? Musical says all, not R. And Keithy says easy on the definition of elderly. John H says I'm over 55, but but definitely not a boomer. A lot of people guessing Who's the Boss. And Dan says, when you were singing, my dogs howled. I swear it. I believe it. I believe it. Justin says, yeah, I mean, most of the Golden Girls were written to be 55 to 60. Justin said, except for Sophia. Yeah, Sophia was substantially older than that. She had to have been like, I'd say in her 80s. Who's the boss? Yeah. Hold me close now, Tony Danz. John H says, who's the boss? Yes. Sean says to John H, all my siblings are considered boomers. Dan says, I'm retiring at the end of June after 35 years of teaching special ed. I don't feel like a baby boomer. So bite me. Congratulations on your retirement. That's awesome. John said mine would be too. Cindy says, Mona was supposed to be her sister at first. Oh. I'm glad they changed it to mother. It was a great dynamic. Oh, but I didn't know that. And yes, it was. Thanks, Tab. He says it was Who's the Boss. And he says, thanks for the trivia, Bub. You're very, very welcome. It's this one was I kind of like I said, I had kind of had to rush this one, but thank you very much. My Flux says great show. It certainly was. And Braid Woodens and Justin says, Yeah, there's a still shot of Danzig getting called out for stealing home in the opening credits. I believe I did not know that. Oh, Zach's here. Hey Zach, how's it going? Zach he says, I love the singing, Zach. Thank you very, very, very much. Glad somebody does. um Apparently I had a good voice before my voice changed when I was a kid. Long story. But Cindy says some states say 60 is elderly, depends on where you live. John H said, though Estelle Getty was just past 60 when she started playing Sophia. Oh yeah, she wasn't that old. She and B. Arthur were very close in age. And Cindy says brand new life around the bend. Johnny says, I get a few 55 plus discounts, but no 60 plus or 65 plus. Yet I remember when I worked in my last store, people used to ask me if I gave senior discounts, and I said no, that would constitute age discrimination, and they refused to accept that. And I said, okay, I'll ask you this way: if I offered a discount to people under 21, would you complain? And they like while they were answering, they would like literally turn purple, like, yeah. And I go, you see, so Teb says, guess the 70s sitcom by this premise: the adventures of an unlikely military unit of medical personnel stationed during the Korean War. MASH. Gary Adams says, I'm back and trying to change my phone. Well, you take it to a psychoanalyst, but it really has to want to change. Cindy D says, I get my IHOP discount. Sunshine. And Gary Carpenter says, John H. Irene Ryan was the same way. She was really young. Yeah, but she died like 2 years after the show was canceled. It was very, very sad. And Ken saying good. Oh, Christopher, good night, man. Take care. So glad you could join us. Dan says 57 is the new 58. Keithy says the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. A lot of people saying goodnight to Christopher. Justin says everyone needs an IHOP discount. Pancake and egg is like $10.99 now. I know IHOP used to be cheap. I know what happened. And Johnny says, yes, good thing Irene Ryan was younger since she died less than 2 years after Beverly Hillbillies was canceled. I know, right, dude? I know. John says, remember, has character not be a character. Remember, has character but not be a character. Fair enough. And John says she died in 1973, April 26th, while performing in Pippin. I did not know that. I did not know that. WD says Irene Ryan was a heavy smoker. That I did know. Funniest thing I ever heard in regards to that lady was in um, The Simpsons, where they go to the movies and there's a trailer for an upcoming action film called Saving Irene Ryan. And you see a German soldier carrying Irene Ryan off. She's like, Gene, help, Gene, help. I thought it was funny. Kevin will be 58 in July. So he says, it's 10%, Justin, just enough to cover the tip. And Keith says, I'm stinking old and I want my stinking discount. Dan says, I'm not proud of it, but I have socks that are 21 years old. But have you changed them in 21 years? John H will be 59 in July. I'll be 57 in August. Teb says, guess the 1960 sitcom by the premise: seemingly perfect housewife with a magical powers and her mortal husband adapt to life in the suburbs. Bewitched. Gary says, B. Benedict was also a heavy smoker. And yes, everyone's getting bewitched. And Johnny says, I'm hoping to do something fun for my 60th next year. Maybe a trip to Las Vegas. Those are always fun. And anyway, guys, we're past the 8:45 mark. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here because remember, I want all you folks to go out there to Comedy's live chat. And of course, tell them Thrash sent you. I am going to try like the Dickens again to get some more content out this week. I have to do a wretched recap because I got to do something. Danny sent me those great comics. I got to cover at least one of them. I'm also putting together a little something with vintage Saturday morning cartoons and a few things based on uh, old vintage sci-fi movies. And I'm just putting a few things together, and I'm hopefully going to do some of them this week. Still going to live chat next week, but until then, everyone, happy Mother's Day to all it applies. To any one of you who have a mother, happy or have had a mother, or will have a mother at a future time. Happy Mother's Day, and of course, be good, be safe, be careful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.